5 people hurt, 2 people dead after a shooting at a Louisville restaurant. Today, renewed calls for increased regulation and questions about the business where those gunshots rang out. It's our top story right here at 5. I'm Shay McAllister.
And I'm Doug Profit. It happened about 3 a.m. Sunday at the crowded Southern Restaurant and Lounge downtown. That business is located right next to the old spaghetti factory and across the street from the downtown convention center. Police say 6 of those people were shot and the 7th was hurt while running during the chaos. LMPD's Assistant Chief Steve Healy said there were 200 to 300 people there at the business, and the business had advertised that night as Southern's last rodeo. An 11 p.m. start time meant to be the last event before the restaurant was moving to a new location. Well, both the state and the city alcoholic beverage control boards have been investigating this bar and restaurant. The Louisville ABC says they've been watching it closely since the 10th of July.
City leaders have questioned whether or not the business was operating properly and called for changes to the rules. Grace McKenna and Chief Photojournalist Philip Merle explain.
Within hours of the shooting at the Southern, Mayor Craig Greenberg pushed the idea of rolling back bar hours. It's an idea that's been floated before, and some calling for it this time around say it's just one part of the solution.
2 years ago, council considered a temporary ordinance to limit alcohol sales to 2 a.m. rather than 4. Businesses at the time told us they didn't think they should be punished because of bad actors. Councilman Ben Reno Weber, who also brought up closing times a few weeks ago, says most bars and restaurants are good neighbors, and council will have to consider multiple solutions.
The real question that I have is, how do we most thoughtfully push forward an agenda that is not just a Band-Aid, that is a real strategic investment in actual change and solutions.
Monday, we also learned more from ABC Director Brad Silveria about the investigation into the Southern. Silveria said the restaurant did have a license to sell alcohol late at night, but explained the license required a certain percentage of food sales. He also confirmed ownership of the business is under investigation. On bar closing times, Silveria said ABC will enforce whatever rules are on the books.
Reno Weber says one of the challenges of managing late night businesses is the intersection of both city and state regulations. He says partners in Frankfort will have a role to play here too. In Louisville, Grace McKenna, WHAS 11 on your side.
And we have seen that intersection playing out already. Silveira says that he had to appeal the Kentucky Alcoholic Beverage Control Board for an emergency termination of Southern's license. He's still awaiting that decision.
More local news here at 5. Louisville Metro Police say that serial robbery suspect that they've been searching for and continue to search for in southwest Louisville may have tried to attack again. Fortunately for one woman, LMPD said her situational awareness kicked in and she got away safely. In this case, if this case is connected, it would be the 7th in a string of attacks against women in Metro Louisville. It happened Sunday morning just before 6 on Kennedy Place Circle. That's near Stone Street. A woman called police after getting home from work and noticed a man was walking up to her car with a gun. She says that she drove to the front of the complex to wait for police, and the same man approached her, tapping on her window with a gun in his hand. She called 911 again. When police arrived, they said that he was nowhere to be found. But they're praising her quick thinking, saying she did the right thing, driving away and calling for help. Here's how the victims have been describing the attacker. A black man about 5'10", thin-built and wearing all black with a hoodie pulled up over his head and a silky mask covering his mouth and nose. The firearm was described as a silver handgun. Police believe recent news coverage could be pushing the suspect out of southwest Jefferson County now to other parts of Metro Louisville. With that in mind, police are asking all women to be vigilant and aware of your surroundings. If you see anything suspicious or know any information about the assaults described, LMPD says they've received several tips and they're actively following the leads. Call them at 574-LMPD.
And we do have 2 more disturbing reports of assaults against women in Louisville. They happened over the weekend. The first happened Friday morning downtown near First and Jefferson, where a woman says she was walking when a man pulled her behind a wall and raped her. A witness says he heard that woman screaming for help and took a picture of the suspect. The suspect was later identified as Travis Hall. He was arrested and charged with rape. The second incident happened in the St. Joseph neighborhood between Audubon Park and I-65, also on Friday. Police arrested 39-year-old Sean Miles after they say he followed a woman home, punched her, and then raped her. That woman told police she had noticed him following her, first on Eastern Parkway and then closer to home at Shelby and Maylon. They said that she was frozen with fear when he started to attack her, but called police after and was able to provide a description leading to Miles' arrest. He He is now charged with first-degree rape and fourth-degree assault.
The man accused of chaining a woman to the floor of a home in the Park Hill neighborhood of Louisville pleaded not guilty in court today. The victim in the case, seen in a video yelling for help, was then rescued by Metro Police officers. Officers used a hatchet to break the chain around her neck and the bolt cutters to get it off of her neck. Police arrested 37-year-old Moises May in connection to the incident. Today in court, right here, he used a Spanish-speaking interpreter. The judge discovering the defendant did not have an attorney and needed representation.
Somebody would have been here today if you'd asked for a public defender that day, but we're going to pass a case to Thursday, appoint a public defender. The bond is currently $100,000 plus home incarceration if you post that.
May is facing several charges, including kidnapping, wanton endangerment, and assault.
Heartbreak in Bullitt County tonight. A family is remembering a high school track star killed in a crash over the weekend. 16-year-old Lucy Kruger succumbed to her injuries on Saturday after a car crash in Shepherdsville on Friday night. According to investigators, it happened on Deatsville Road. Today, her family shared these photos of her with us. They say she was a junior at Bullitt Central High School and a talented cross-country and track runner. They said, quote, "A few short words cannot capture how special she was to us. She was a light in this world that left us much too soon." Well, if you would like to support the family, you can find a link to the fundraiser on our website. That is WHAS11.com. They have raised more than $9,000.
A brand new Metro Police officer who had just graduated from the police academy this past Friday was fired before his first day on the job. Louisville Metro Police say they were called to a non-injury crash on Saturday on Frankfort Avenue at McCready, and they discovered that LMPD officer Luis Rodriguez had hit several parked cars. He was still in the driver's seat of his car when officers got there. Rodriguez was arrested and charged with DOI, according to Metro Police. He had just graduated from the academy on Friday. His first shift was scheduled for Sunday. LMPD said Chief Jacqueline Gwen Villarreal immediately fired Rodriguez upon learning about the officer's arrest. Well, a decision could come this week. Residents across Highview in Louisville are waiting for the EPA's approach to the Applegate Lane house filled with dangerous chemicals. Burn it down or clean it out with specialists.
It comes as the federal agency is back in Louisville this week, clearing out the neighboring home. Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley are back in the neighborhood today with more on the update.
City EMS tells us the EPA is on site and preparing to clean out the home next to the main one in question on Applegate Lane, that one with all the chemicals. Of course, this comes as the big question: what will happen to that main home? Will it be burned down?
This sliver of Applegate Lane remains closed to most drivers Monday afternoon. Federal crews working to clear out one of two homes where officials confirm the presence of mercury.
It's hard to believe one person could cause so much disruption.
I know.
Neighbors down the street, Linda Edwards and Carol Morris, say authorities knocked on their doors, telling them not to be alarmed by any loud noises over the next few days.
Loud firecracker sounds, but
blowing some things up there.
It's been nearly a month since the city first notified us of the potential dangers inside the fenced-off properties.
Do you get antsy knowing that you don't know?
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to know the decision. I know they're doing the best they can.
Edwards and Morris telling us the thought of burning the chemicals still sounds scary to them.
Well, we just hope they don't burn it up. I'm hoping they can take it apart.
The security detail around the homes has been nonstop, so much so one officer even sent to the hospital Friday after a tree fell on her cruiser during severe weather. This week, EPA officials are expected to reveal their guidance on whether they can dispose of the chemicals piece by piece. Until then,
There's lots of things that could go wrong. It's just kind of scary, you know, not knowing really what's going to happen when they do that.
people living along Applegate Lane remain uneasy on what lies ahead. In Louisville, Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Metro Public Health and Wellness started free mercury testing for neighbors today. As of noon, they didn't have anyone signed up. If you walked on that property and you'd like to get your shoes or your car floorboards tested, you can make an appointment by calling 574-6650.
A lot of people across Louisville have got their power back finally on Sunday. They really needed this lower humidity that we're seeing here tonight. Good looking clear skies from our tower cam. That hazy hot weather now gone, giving us a much needed break.
Nice change of pace here, Ben. I like it.
Yeah, we get a nice break between heat waves. I say between because it looks like down the road for our Labor Day weekend, we will have some 90s returning. But right now, the humidity is pretty low. You can see that around 43%. Our temperatures are pretty even around the area in the low to mid 80s. A sample of those temperatures right now around Metro Louisville. We've got 84 there in PRP, Valley Station, Fern Creek, the same. Linden at 86 and 85 over the river toward Sellersburg, and temperatures a little cooler northwest, upper 70s in Paoli and Bedford, and we've got Hodgenville checking in at 81 degrees. A little cloudier off to our southeast, but mostly sunny skies overhead, and that's the way it's going to be pretty much for the rest of our work week as well. So in the 70s around sunset this evening, our overnight low temperatures will be down to the 50s and lower 60s, and now tomorrow morning early down to the southeast around the Cumberland Parkway, chance for a couple of brief showers. This is around 8-9 o'clock, but notice that moves out pretty quickly, and mostly sunny tomorrow afternoon with our temperatures topping out again in the low to mid 80s. So mostly clear tonight, low temperature 63, a little cooler north, upper 70s around lunchtime tomorrow, and comfortably warm again with another high around 85 degrees. Florida, meanwhile, will be bracing for Hurricane Idalia. I'll have that track coming up in just a few minutes in our complete forecast.